Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel today. If you remember, before season 3 of Yellowjackets, I made some videos speculating about whether or not the show had supernatural elements. Since then, I've done a few breakdowns showing how the writers might be pulling from different types of folklore, especially Greek mythology. We've been guessing what kinds of creatures or themes could appear in the show, and now that season 3 has wrapped up, I wanted to take a look at how folklore might connect to what we saw this season. As we talked about before, Yellowjackets seems to draw heavily from literature and myths, with a strong leaning toward Greek folklore. One major connection we've made is between the Yellowjackets and a cult that worships Persephone. The rituals, imagery, and behavior closely mirror what cults devoted to her might have done. That's an important link and sets the tone for how the show blends myth with reality. One thing I want to focus on today is the screaming we hear throughout season 3. At first, I thought it might be something like a banshee or a siren, and those are creatures that appear in many cultures' folklore. In Greek mythology, sirens are known for luring sailors to their deaths and singing. Meanwhile, in Irish or Celtic folklore, the banshee wails or shrieks as a warning that someone is about to die. These screams can reportedly reach over 130 decibels. Given that there's no ocean or sailors in Yellowjackets, I think the screaming is more similar to the banshee. It could represent the forest itself warning the group or of impending death, whether caused by themselves or not. Now let's talk about the trees and the strange sounds Travis hears at the beginning of the season. At first, he's terrified by how loud they are, but then he starts listening to them more closely, though his reaction still doesn't seem positive. Trees that talk or have consciousness appear in many cultures' mythologies. One that feels especially relevant here is from Persian folklore, the Grove of Words. In that story, a tree speaks words of wisdom and warnings to those who listen. I think the trees in Yellowjackets might be doing something similar, trying to warn or communicate with Travis. It's also worth noting that Travis had been drinking that mushroom tea, which may have made him more sensitive to the supernatural or divine. That could explain why the trees' voices were so overwhelming for him. And hey, as a side note, the talking trees reminded me a bit of the Ents from the Lord of the Rings. Though that's a fictional example, the vibe is definitely similar. I'm sure there are more connections to folklore and mythology hidden throughout season 3, and I'll be diving into those in the future. Let me know what you think. What myths or creatures do you see reflected in the show? Even though it feels like the writers are leaning away from the supernatural side, I think these symbolic and mythological elements are what make the show so fun to analyze, at least for me. But thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, comment with your thoughts, and subscribe for more deep dives into Yellowjackets and folklore. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, everyone.